Hello everyone. And that's a quick recap of the movie, The Teacher. Enjoy watching it. Carla Novak, a 7th grader at a German school, is interrogating the class monitors in the staff room. There's a thief among them. Tom wants to know if anyone has a new cell phone. Or maybe someone's been throwing money around. Lucas pointed at one of his classmates. Carla wasn't happy with this treatment of her students. Oscar is the smartest kid in the class. Because of this, the other kids call him a nerd. Suddenly, several teachers entered the classroom. Duck demanded that all the girls go out into the hallway. Principal Bettina ordered the boys to take out their wallets and leave them on their desks. Everyone complied except Oscar. The poor boy simply doesn't have a wallet. But Ali was found to have too much money, so his parents were called to the school. His mother explained that they had given him so much money themselves. A boy was supposed to buy a game for his cousin's birthday. The woman was indignant. Having money is a crime now. And what will the other kids think of her son? Rumors will immediately spread. My son never steals because if he does, I'll break his legs, quote. All the teachers contribute change to the common pot. Carla is upset about the tax on the children, but how will they then identify the thief? Almost everyday money or some office supplies disappear. The teacher has a good relationship with the secretary Frederica, a very pleasant and responsible woman. She is the mother of her favorite boy Oscar. In the staff room, Carla noticed one of her colleagues tipping change from the common pot. Maybe the stealing wasn't the child at all. Oscar, as always, finished before the others and asked to leave, but Thomas was caught copying from a cheat sheet. The boy claimed it wasn't his, but the teacher took the work and gave him a clean sheet. He has 20 minutes to start over. After class, Carla reprimanded the offender, but instead of apologizing, Toma bullied him again. The teachers are discussing Ali's academic performance. Due to his poor grades, there's a chance he'll be held back a year. Carlos suspects his colleagues still consider Olavo and are simply trying to get even with him. Carlo came up with something. She counted the money in her wallet and left it in her jacket. Meanwhile, she turned on the camera on her laptop and headed to class. At the end of the workday, Carla counted the cash again. Yes, someone had robbed her. Now she'd find out who exactly did it. The whistle had come at an inopportune moment, so the teacher had to lock herself in the restroom to review the recording in peace. Only the sleeve of the blouse the thief was wearing was captured on camera. Carla was stunned when she realized it was Oscar's mother, Frederica. The teacher asked the second secretary to leave the room. She told him about the money that had disappeared from her wallet. Apparently the thief wasn't a student, but someone from the special forces. Frederica started wondering who it could have been. Frauken. You don't want to tell me anything. Carla mentioned the blouse and asked her to just return her money. Then they would forget about it all. But the woman started yelling at Carla and demanded that she leave. The teacher became indignant and immediately went to the principal. She brought Frederica into her office and sat her down on a chair. I consider this statement absolute impudence. But it's not a statement. Carla has evidence. Bettina turned on the recording and pointed to familiar clothing. This is your evidence. You can't recognize anyone here. Frederica became indignant. The principal asked her to return the teacher's money first. Frederica aggressively threw her wallet on the table. Then the woman burst into tears, showed that there was nothing in the wallet and turned out her pockets. Frederica had a fit. She grabbed her son and ran out into the street with him. Carla returned to the headmistress and backed out, saying they couldn't consider the recording 100% proof. Dick suddenly accused his colleague of violating her privacy. She had no right to secretly film the scene. Bettina, however, intended to hand the video over to the police after classes ended. All the children except Oscar left the classroom. To cheer up the sad straight-A student, Carla let him play with a Rubik's Cube. Quote, and if something's bothering you, you can always talk to me. You know why my mother was crying yesterday. Quote. Frederica didn't talk to her son about what happened. Oscar was called into the teacher's lounge and given candy. His mother wasn't answering, so the boy was asked to call her from his phone. Frederica still refused to talk to her colleagues. Oscar began to panic. What on earth had his mother done? Nothing. But for now she won't be going to work. The headmistress replied, quote, "It has something to do with the thefts. Why did you even think about stealing? That's out of the question," quote the boy. Of course thinks his mother didn't do it. He threw the candy back when he left. Carla is outraged by Bettina's approach because Oscar feels pressure from the adults. This evening Carla is holding a parent-teacher meeting. The head girl's mother is very concerned about one thing. Her daughter was interrogated and forced to give up information about her classmates. "It seems to me that you coerce the children. Encourage them to inform on other children. You turn the children into informers. And this is colossal psychological pressure." Carla was also against it, but she's the one who has to take the rap. Suddenly Frederica, who was late, entered the room. The topic of thefts came up. Frederica became nervous and then spoke up and said that Carla, by the way, will soon be taken to court for secretly filming other people. Espionage, denunciations, slander, libel, and everything that goes with it. I wouldn't believe a word that woman says. If I were you, sit down. Having finished, Frederica proudly walked out of the classroom. Carla had a panic attack after this pleasant woman's antics. During class, the teacher took Lucas's cell phone. The boy asked her to put it in her pocket, otherwise someone might steal it. Ollie thought it was about him, but Lucas meant Oscar. They had just learned in biology today that children inherit a lot from their parents. Oscar came to talk to the teacher after class. He's trying to understand why everyone is so sure his mother is a thief. Oscar asked Dude to leave him alone with Carla. The boy dumped small bills and coins on the table. Here are 63 euros, that's all he's saved. Carla can take this money just to leave her alone with his mother. The teacher must take back her words and apologize to Frederica in front of everyone, or she'll be very sorry. The boy kicked over a chair and ran out into the yard. He's inciting the other students to do something. The teachers are gossiping about Frederica's actions and how they intend to punish her to the fullest extent of the law. Colleagues demand to see the video. They had things stolen from them, too. They're just as much victims. Despite everything, Carla defends Frederica. She's already lost her job. Isn't that enough for them? Carla was distracted by the children. They want the teacher to give an interview to the school newspaper. Carla entered the editorial office. It turned out the conversation would be recorded. She began the interview with simple questions. Carla answered sincerely, but then the older kids chimed in. The conversation turned to theft at school. Why were the students the ones under suspicion? They also learned that the school had hidden video surveillance. Carla was even more reluctant to answer this question. They also heard that Oscar would have to transfer to another school. A frustrated Carla was about to leave, but the boy asked for a last photo. It seemed Frederica had returned to school. Carla wanted to catch up with her and talk, when suddenly she saw a girl in the exact same blouse. Everyone around her was wearing the same clothes. Due to the stress, Carla was already hallucinating. In class, she realized she had become an enemy to the students. No one wanted to talk to her or come to the board. Okay, then I'll sit down too and we'll be quiet. Stupid idiot. The kids were worried about Oscar being expelled, and they'd also handed him over. No one apologized. Carla was tired of it all. She nervously gathered up her notebooks and once invited someone to come to the board. Tom, a failing student, took the initiative, and they immediately called him a traitor. The boy claimed it was all because of Oscar and his mother Verjuga. Carla immediately kicked him out of the class, despite the fact that he was the only one who had met her halfway. Criticism rained down on Carla from all sides. The children wouldn't shut up until the end of the lesson. Oscar left the teacher a message. My mother isn't a thief and Frederica is a liar. Quote. Carla wanted to rectify the situation and reconnect with the children. She suggested an exercise. The students had to fit on a small platform without falling. They were having trouble until Oscar prompted his classmates to reach out to each other. He grabbed Thomas's hands, but then forcefully pushed him onto the mat. A fight broke out between the students. For this, Carlos sent the straightest student out into the hallway, and then Oscar completely lost control. He smashed the door, burst into Carla's office, and found a laptop in her bag. The boy hit the teacher over the head with it and ran out into the street. When Oscar realized they were about to catch up with him, he stopped on the bridge and threw his laptop into the river. The school psychologist recommended transferring Oscar to another class or even another school. He was being disruptive and disturbing other students. Carla defended Oscar, saying he simply wanted to protect his mother. You can't just throw a child away. It would be better for Carla to quit. However, everyone opposed it. The school was already short of teachers. Tom drew everyone's attention to the black eye victim. After all, if a student also hits teachers, then there's nothing to talk about. But Carla lied, saying she simply fell. The teachers voted to suspend Oscar from school. The special edition of the school newspaper had just come out today. Carla was supposed to have been sent a draft before publication, but she was only able to read the interview. Now it turned out that the young journalist had distorted a lot of her statements and taken her statements out of context. The students refused to make any corrections, having also spoken with the other party, Frederica, who had accused them of theft. Basically, if a teacher doesn't like something, that's her problem. They won't allow themselves to be censored. This newspaper issue caused quite a stir. The students now look askance at Carla. The newspaper also caused a stir among the teachers. Tom, read the text first. Due to Russian prejudices, a child of migrants was accused of theft. Then, without any evidence, Frederica, the kind soul of the school, was suspended from her job. Furthermore, illegal methods were used for hidden camera recording. Tom believes that Carla is trying to please the students at any cost, which is why she gave such a controversial interview. Ultimately, the headmistress banned the sale of the newspaper, but the situation in the staff room still escalated to the breaking point. As soon as the bell rang, Carla hurried back to her students. She asked the children to release the tension by screaming as loudly as they could, but they did it gladly, all of them. And again? So thank you. Carla informed the students that Oscar had been suspended for 10 days, but the boys still entered the classroom and sat down. Some of the children began to bully their unruly classmate. Carla asked him to leave the room, but Oscar refused to listen. Then the teacher turned to Tom for help. He reluctantly agreed. Tom was left alone with the troublemaker, while Carla moved the students to another room. The teacher called Frederica and asked her not to use her son as a tool against her. But the woman refused to take the boy away until Carla apologized. A crowd of teachers gathered around Oscar. If he didn't go home, they would be forced to call the police. Carla said she sincerely regretted how everything turned out, but now it could get even worse. Carla escorted the others out the door and locked it. The teacher simply sat down next to the boy and began grading his work. The other children went home. Frederica arrived on her bicycle. She called her son, but he refused to answer. Oscar stared at Carla, then pulled out a Rubik's Cube and solved it quite easily. The school was almost deserted. Oscar never got up from his seat. The police had to carry the proud boy out into the street in his chair.